Hey everybody, back today. I want to cover a quick topic here in eating disorder recovery, which is fullness. And for us clinicians at Calm Clinic, this is a huge obstacle that with a lot of clients during eating disorder recovery, we have to figure out ways to navigate to help that person feel as good and confident as possible with their meal recovery plan. So there's a couple reasons during recovery why your fullness might feel overwhelming or feel like it really is something that is limiting you in being able to meet your nutritional needs. And so one of the reasons is when we are in metabolic recovery, we're not just fueling you for the day itself, right? We're not just giving you adequate nutritional needs for today. We're also working to fill a backlog that the body hadn't been able to achieve during periods of under eating, inconsistent eating, fasting periods intermittently throughout the days and weeks. So we really are having to feed you more than what your body has typically adapted to eat. So not only are you coming from kind of maybe like an under eating or inconsistent eating place into what we think of as normal eating or closer to your metabolic needs, you're also having to recover the backlog of what your body had to kind of put to the side or not complete. So it really is in part the fact that we are feeding you probably significantly more than your body needs in a typical day, why that feeling of fullness is so persistent. The digestive system really does struggle to handle it, but I definitely want to assure you that over time it does adapt, and over time as you get closer to kind of full, complete recovery from your eating disorder, we do over time modify the nutrition plan and ideally switch into intuitive eating so you can find some relief and not anticipate that feeling of fullness is going to last forever. One of the second reasons we often see a lot of fullness in eating disorder recovery is because the energy regulation system in your body is thrown off. What essentially happens is that your hunger and fullness signals are kind of all out of whack, and so your body isn't really giving you or able to understand what an appropriate level of fullness is for you. So that's another reason, is just hormonally or the way that the digestive system is functioning because of these periods of under eating or inconsistent eating. Your energy regulation system just isn't giving you correct or appropriate cues, and it can make you feel full, pretty early into a meal, or make you feel like you can't really finish something that maybe somebody else close to you would normally think that they would be able to finish quite easily. So again, kind of the more that we force a little bit and really work around some of these fullness issues and get you into a consistent and adequate eating plan, ideally that energy regulation system comes back online. And for most people, their appetite and their fullness signals start to kind of become more commensurate with the amount of food that they need to eat. So a couple ways that we navigate fullness in the clinic. The first thing we really try to do is focus on more smaller and more frequent meals. So instead of 3 giant meals a day, we often try to start out with 5 or 6 small meals a day, and we make sure that those are nutritionally adequate, nutritionally dense. And ideally having smaller meals throughout the day doesn't get quite to the level of fullness that it would otherwise if you were eating 3 full meals a day, so that can be a way that we work around it. One of the other things that we do is we really are careful around large portions of fiber, or things like salad or veggies at dinner, and we want to try to certainly incorporate those because they're so high in vitamins and antioxidants and minerals, but we also want to kind of make sure the portion is appropriate for the meal size and it's not overtaking the meal and causing some fullness without getting the calories in that you need. So at meal times, we really tried to prioritize carbohydrates, protein, and fiber, carbohydrates, protein, and fat, and then we make sure that fiber is kind of a smaller portion of the meal, just at least in the early to mid stages of recovery, and then we kind of talk about that more as we go through. And one of the other things that we really make sure that we try to do is reduce or kind of keep an eye on if someone is drinking quite a lot in terms of water or seltzer or other beverages in high amounts. Sometimes filling the stomach with fluid is really going to cause you to feel overly full or early fullness if you start eating a meal after that. So that's another thing to monitor through the early stages of recovery process. And then really if someone is feeling quite limited, there are some nutritional aids and supplements that we can recommend that help people digest maybe a little bit faster, or there are some nutritional aids or shakes that we sometimes incorporate to help people get calories when they're really feeling like they're capped in terms of food. And a couple of brands that we usually recommend would be Orgain, Kate Farms, Ensure, Boost, even own drinks. Those all might either be a partial meal replacement or top off a meal, so that we are getting the nutritional calories we need. We're getting the protein, carbs, and fat that your body needs to recover, while not kind of forcing somebody to eat more food than they're comfortable eating. So these are all the ways that we try to navigate fullness in eating disorder recovery. And for this video, I just want you to know that if this is something that you're struggling with in your recovery, it is totally normal. It is really uncomfortable. It's one of the hardest pieces of eating disorder recovery. But if you're going through it right now, there is another side. What you're dealing with is temporary right now. And please reach out to people that you're working with, or social supports, or anybody that you can, to help kind of talk you through this piece, and know that you'll make it through to the other side. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.